Hey YouTube, what's up? My name is Janelle. Welcome to my channel. As a disclaimer, y'all, this is my first video that I'm ever recording and posting on YouTube, so don't come for me in the comments, you know, if the video is a little discombobulated and not edited 100% perfect, because I'm learning and getting more comfortable. But I'm excited to start filming content, and the more that I create and get comfortable in front of the camera, the better quality content I will be able to provide for y'all. So I'm excited for y'all to come along with me on this journey, and hopefully you enjoy what I put out. So you can see by the title of this video, I'm going to be providing some interview tips and tricks for you to get your CJO, get it in the bag, y'all. I'm not going to say the name of the specific carrier that I have received my CJO with, but by the thumbnail, hopefully you'll be able to hopefully you'll be able to tell what airline I am referring to. And then throughout the course of this video, I'm going to be saying some specifics as it pertains to this airline that y'all, I cannot talk already, that I hope will help clarify what specific airline I am referring to. Okay, and y'all, I had to push myself to record this video today because I just realized that this airline had just reopened applications again as of yesterday, I believe. So I wanted to put this video out to provide some more tips as y'all are doing your research on how to prepare to interview. I think a lot of the tips that I'm going to provide will be kind of general to go across the board for any airline that you may be interested in getting an interview with. That are not 100% sure on the qualifications of being a flight attendant, just some general ones to keep in mind. You have to be 21 or older. You have to have a high school diploma, a minimum of a high school diploma, but you don't have to go to college in order to be eligible to be a flight attendant. They do say on their website for the position that it's good if you have customer service experience, hospitality experience, food service, safety related jobs, healthcare, military, etc. They say that you have to have your passport and you have to be vaccinated. During the process, depending on how far you make, they will verify that you have your vaccination card, and they also will have to verify that you have your passport. But the job application online gives an extensive overview of all the requirements that you will have to have and what's going to be expected of you to become a flight attendant with the company. It'll outline all the bases that the company is at, just so you can have an idea where you might be able to be based. You do have to be able and willing to relocate to your base or be comfortable commuting to your base if you are assigned a base that you are currently not living at or willing to relocate to. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Flexibility is a really big thing when it comes to trying to be a flight attendant. So that's something that they are going to want to ensure that you're comfortable doing. And throughout the application process, it will ask you some of those questions, and make sure that you're paying attention to what the question is asking. Take your time filling out the application, because if you accidentally mark something that you didn't mean to mark, it could disqualify you from making it to the next step, and you won't be eligible to reapply for about 6 months, I think is the average for most of the companies, if you do not get selected to move through the process. So make sure that you're paying attention and taking your time answering the questions, because you would hate to get ruled out for making a mistake on the application part. So yeah, I just want to give that little bit of nugget to you in regards to the application requirements and things to look out for on the application. Okay, y'all. So I have created some flashcards to help guide me in speaking in this video, because y'all, my brain is always discombobulated to the max. And if I don't have like an organized list of talking points, I will be rambling on and on and on. And I'll look at the timestamp for this video and it'll be 50 minutes. And I haven't provided nothing helpful for y'all to even take away from this video. So I will be looking down to help, you know, guide me on talking points to make sure I cover everything that I need to cover in this video. So if I'm looking down, that is why. Sorry. All right. So I submitted my application on September 30th of last year. I submitted my application, and then I was just waiting impatiently on some feedback as far as if I was going to get invited to do a virtual interview or what the next steps in the process were going to be. So yeah, I was just waiting. I also had applied to other airlines during this month as well. So I had finally received a status update on my application on October 18th. And the status update basically was letting me know that they had temporarily paused applications because they had so many coming in within that time frame that they initially put them up, and that they was going to reach out to me in the near future to schedule a virtual interview. So I'm like, okay, that's great news. Like, I've been waiting, but I'm glad that they made a point to email me and keep in contact with me to let me know that my application had been reviewed and that I should be getting contacted soon for a virtual interview. So that was a sigh of relief, but still I was like nervous and just waiting for the virtual interview date. So then fast forward to December 1st, y'all. So it was definitely a chunk of change in between time that I was just waiting to get my invitation to do a virtual interview. But nonetheless, I got it on December 1st. So they sent me an email saying that I was gonna do my virtual interview and that I had to click on the link provided in the email to schedule my virtual interview. Y'all, when I clicked on the link was broken and it didn't allow me to access any interview times or anything to schedule my virtual interview. So I was freaking out, panicking, like, oh my God, I've been waiting so long on this and the link is not working. But it worked out. Like, I ended up emailing the HR email for the company, and then they sent me a new link, I think on the 3rd of December. And I was able to access interview times and self-schedule my virtual interview. And I ended up scheduling it for the following day because, y'all, I just wanted to get it over with, in the sense of just me wanting to not wait any longer, because I was so excited and anxious. And I had been prepping myself like for basically over a month for the virtual interview. And by prepping, I mean by basically becoming aware of the company's values, their mission statement, watching hella videos on YouTube for current flight attendants for the company, and just getting an overview of people's experience working with the airline, as well as general interview tips. So I was pretty confident that I was ready to take the interview that next day. So I scheduled my virtual interview for December 4th, and I think it was around like 4 p.m. In the afternoon. And then, y'all, my virtual interview went so good. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. The person that facilitated my interview was so nice, so inviting. It was very relaxed. And from the research that I did, a lot of people were saying that the virtual interview was going to be consisted of behavioral based questions. It was about 5 questions. I can't disclose specifically what my questions were in the interview, but just I just encourage you to practice the STAR method, which is something that has been widely talked about from other individuals as far as recommendations on how to prepare for the specific type of questions. So definitely practice the STAR method. Other than that, I would just encourage you to be yourself. I know people say that all the time and it's cliche and redundant, but it's so true. Because if you are working yourself up to be super nervous and you're thinking that you have to like fit this cookie cutter image of like what you think the best flight attendant is going to look like, you probably would deter away from you showcasing your natural self. Of course, you know, it's an interview, so you're going to be nervous, but like, don't get so worked up to where you can't perform well. And so I think like once you answer, you know, the questions that they already have set out for you in that interview, definitely take the initiative to learn about your interviewer. Ask them, you know, what their experience has been like working with the company. What do they love about the culture? What exciting trips have they been on? What are some things that they have been able to do outside of just being a flight attendant? If they are a flight attendant that's interviewing you, sometimes it might be someone else in a different capacity, a different role within the company interviewing you. So definitely get to know them. This is your opportunity to also learn about the company and knowing a little bit more about what your day-to-day is going to look like. And it's also an opportunity for you to showcase more about yourself and your personality. If you like to laugh and, you know, have lighthearted jokes, this is your time to do that, you know, as long as they're not offensive and obscene. You know, don't be cracking jokes on your interviewer, because they're gonna be looking at you crazy and you're not gonna make it to the next round. So don't do that. But all I'm saying is just allow your personality to show, and also ask questions. This is the opportune time to do that. So if they say, do you have any questions for me? Please do not say, no, I don't have any questions. Please have questions, because if you are asking the questions, that's going to show that you have interest in learning more about the company, the position, and then it's also going to allow more time for the interviewer to get to know you, because if you're asking a question, it's going to kind of pose, you know, another conversation to develop, and you also having the opportunity to put in some input and, you know, allowing them to get to know you more. So I highly recommend doing that during your virtual interview, and at any interview point that you're, like, you know, interacting with someone from the company. So yeah, my virtual interview probably lasted about 35 minutes or so. Like, the STAR behavioral based questions that they asked didn't take that long, but majority of my interview was literally me and the interviewer having a conversation. So it was very encouraging for me, at least, because it made me more relaxed and it wasn't just a completely structured interview. It definitely allowed me to, you know, get to know more about them and showcase my personality and what I had to bring to the company. So yeah, I've left that virtual interview feeling very confident, and I was like, okay, you know what, I think I'll make it to the next round. But you can never be 100% sure, right? Because you can think you do your best and you may not hear back. But yeah, so I concluded the interview, and the interviewer told me that I would hear back from them in about a week to know if I made it to the next stage or not. Y'all, I waited much longer than a week. I waited over a month to hear back from them, and I honestly think it was because of the time of the year that I did my virtual interview. Keep in mind, my interview was on December 4th, so that was right before Christmas. There was probably people, you know, taking vacations, and there's probably a lot going on during that time frame, so it definitely extended the period that I had to wait to hear back from them. And then after Christmas, it's New Year's, and it was just a long waiting period, and I really think it was attributed to the holiday season. So I didn't hear back from the company until January 6th of 2022. I received an email saying congratulations, I made it to the next round, which was the face-to-face interview. So I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I got it. So I was so happy. And then they had sent me an email saying that I could schedule a date for my face-to-face interview, which was going to be located in Houston, Texas. So when I went into the portal to see the next available times, I'm the type of person where I just want to go as soon as possible. So I scheduled my face-to-face interview for January 20th, because the dates that were available, I actually wasn't going to be able to make those dates. So I kind of had to push it out a little bit longer than what I wanted to, because I had a trip planned to visit my family in California, which is where I'm originally from. And I currently live in Houston. So it worked out because the face-to-face was going to be in Houston. So I didn't have to make any arrangements to, like, fly into the city or anything like that. So that was very convenient. So yeah, I went to my face-to-face on January 20th. So my face-to-face interview, once I got there, I was greeted by 2 employees that were so nice. They checked me in, gave me my name tag, verified my vaccination card. And then I waited a couple of minutes for a couple more people to enter so they could escort us upstairs to the conference room area where everyone was going to be meeting to start the face-to-face interview. And I know y'all are looking at my nails like, I hope she didn't go to her face-to-face with nails like this. No, my nails are very long and bedazzled and bright, but I had on very short and very basic nails when I went to my interviews and had my virtual interviews. They were like just nude with no designs and no sparkles, but I'm a little ratchet, okay? So I like a lot of stuff going on with my nails, which is gonna be, you know, the sad part once I start training, because I know I can't have nails like this and I can't have, you know, the big old piercings and all that, but it's okay. I'll make that sacrifice. But yeah, don't go to your interview with nails like this, because you don't want it to be a distraction. You don't want it to take away from all the other amazing things about yourself. So definitely keep it simple, ladies. Don't go in there like this, okay? You're on your virtual interview as well as your face-to-face. You want to be presentable, okay? You want to make sure that you are wearing interview appropriate clothing. When I did my virtual interview, I had on a white button-up top, and I had on like I think a navy blue blazer. Of course, they're only seeing you from waist up, but make sure you got on some pants just in case, you know, you move or something and you need to fix something. You don't want your panties or boxers or sweats showing. Like, have on pants too, because you never know like what may transpire when you're on the video call. So you just want to make sure that you're presentable in all aspects. In my face-to-face interview, very similar get up. I had on a black button-up top. I had on a black blazer, some gray business casual pants, and some black ankle boots with like a chunky heel. I didn't go out and buy anything new. I just utilized what I had in my closet. But if you want to go out and buy something, that's totally fine as well, as long as you're confident and you're meeting the guidelines for business casual attire. And I would also just, you know, utilize your resources. Go online, go on YouTube, and, you know, see what other interviewers have worn to their interviews to get an idea of what to wear. But as long as you're business casual, you're not showing any cleavage, you're not, you know, wearing anything that's obscene or offending, you should be a-okay. So I won't go into too much detail about the face-to-face as far as exactly what transpired, but in general terms, there is 3 types of sessions throughout the interview day. It started at 10 and I think I left around 4-ish, I think. But it seems like it's a long time to be there, but honestly, it flew by really fast because you're just super excited. You're meeting so many people, and everything is really structured, so it's not like you're just sitting around waiting that much. It really goes by really fast. So the first part of the session was basically like an introduction to the company, an overview of the company, and just different information that you kind of want to be aware of and what you're getting yourself into in a nutshell. So that was the first thing, and also allowed a Q&A session for us, so we did that. And then the second session was a group activity. I cannot go into details about what that exactly entailed, but I would encourage you to definitely be a team player, be encouraging, and communicate with your team members during that activity, because they're watching not only during the group activity, but they're watching you the entire time that you're there. As soon as you step into the building, keep in mind that someone's watching you. I encourage you to interact with everyone, regardless if it's an employee from the airline or other individuals that are there to be interviewed. It's good to be personable. It's good to introduce yourself, communicate with everyone around you when you have the opportunity to do so, because it's so important. They want to see that you are engaged, that you're curious, that you want to communicate with other people there, because they're going to see how you're going to be acting if you were to be hired as a flight attendant and you're in an environment with people you do not know. So I definitely would encourage you to do that throughout the whole entire time that you're there. And then so after the group activity, they did one-on-one interviews with everyone that was there. I would say at my face-to-face, it honestly surprisingly was not that many of us. I would say it was probably like 25 of us that was there. So they brought each person back one by one, and y'all, I was the last one to get interviewed. So I think it was because I lived in Houston and a lot of people were commuting from other states. So they wanted to get them out of the building first because they had flights to catch. So with me being in Houston already, I think that was a huge reason as to why I was interviewed last, which I didn't mind. Like, you know, I was chilling in the room that they had us waiting at. They were playing some videos on the screen about flight attendants, and they were sharing their experiences with the company. So it was nice, you know, to watch that. And then they had snacks and juices and everything in the room. So I was chilling, you know, I wasn't trying to get really worked up and having myself super nervous before I got back there. I was just trying to relax. So I definitely think that time that I was waiting helped me calm down by the time they called me back. And so yeah, I got called back. I did my one-on-one interview, and it was very similar to the virtual interview as far as predetermined questions that was asked by the interviewer. A lot of it was me utilizing my STAR method once again, and very similar to my virtual interview. They asked me if I had any questions for them. So I asked questions. I was very personable. I made sure that I got to know my interviewer. I asked them, like, what are some of their favorite things about working with the company? What is culture like for them? What are some of the initiatives that the company has done on a global scale that they're really proud of, and things like that. So I really want to stress that, like, when you do your research on the company, it kind of helps facilitate talking points during your interview that you want to highlight or ask more about, that's not just generally specific to being a flight attendant. Like I talked about the company's diversity and inclusion initiatives, which is something that I was very interested in when I did my research on the company. For me, like, I really want to work for a company that is aligned with my values, and my background is in social work, so I love when companies have very, very great diversity and inclusion initiatives that are very much so focused on diversifying communities and the workplace. And so that's something that this company has definitely brought a lot of focus to in the most recent years, with changes with their guidelines as far as appearances and things of that nature, and diversifying the amount of employees that they're hiring in these positions. So that's something that I highlighted and talked about in my interview. So I think you'll be more comfortable and excited to talk about things that you have a general interest in, and I think it'll show naturally when you're in your interview. So that's something that I really encourage you to do. Research things that you're interested in about the company, and those things to the table when you're in your interview. I definitely think that that's going to help you so much. And just be yourself, smile. I had my mask on the entire time, but y'all, even if you have your mask on, they can tell if you're smiling, because like if I cover my face and I'm just like this, clearly you can't tell that I'm smiling through my eyes. But if I go like this, you can tell in my eyes that I'm smiling. So definitely smile. Don't let the mask kind of like get in the way of you showing enthusiasm, because you can tell by other features in your face if you're smiling. So definitely smile. Body language is really, really good. You know, I talk with my hands, you know, I move around a little bit. Like, you don't have to just be stiff and, you know, enclosed. Definitely just be relaxed and be yourself. So yeah, after that, I was escorted out of the room. I had asked her what are the next steps, and she told me that I should expect to hear something within a week. So I was escorted out, and then I was told that another employee would take me downstairs to escort me out of the building. So I waited. The next employee came over, and y'all, they played a little tricky trick on me. They didn't take me downstairs. I actually went upstairs, and I received my CJO on the spot that day. And I was like, what? Me? Who? Me? I got the job. I got the job, y'all. So I was so happy about that. So yeah, I got my CJO on the spot, and then I got my drug test and my background check initiated that same day while I was there in the building. And then I would say on, let me look at my notes. Last week or so, I can't remember the exact date because I didn't write it down, but I was assigned my start date for training on March 7th. So a little bit over a month from now, I will begin training. So that is basically the conclusion of my interview and application timeline journey. Another thing that I want to encourage y'all to do is during this process when you're waiting, you You know, they try to give you a general time frame of when to expect communication, but sometimes, like in my experience, it can exceed that window of time that they give you. So just try and be patient as possible. I know it's easier said than done, but try your best to just stay busy. Don't freak out, you know, if you don't hear back when they say that they will contact you. As the saying goes, no news is good news. So just, you know, wait it out. And another thing I really want to encourage y'all to do is get on Facebook and research different groups to join for flight attendants specific to your airline, because y'all, they have been super helpful for me as far as like people that have already received their CJOs, or just a general flight attendant group for that specific airline that's going through the application and interview process. There are so many tips on there, and from current flight attendants for that airline, as far as like what to expect during training, tips to get you to prepare as far as what to bring for training, what type of airline shoes to wear, information about seniority on bases, or what bases may be junior for your specific airline. Like, it's a lot of information out on Facebook, and I really encourage you to utilize some of those Facebook groups, because a lot of information that I wasn't privy to before when doing my research, I got a lot of answers to certain questions from the groups on Facebook. I hope that I was able to provide you guys with some good tips. If there's anything specific that you want me to answer that I didn't cover in this video, drop a comment below and I will try to answer it to the best of my ability if I'm able to. And then when I begin training, of course, I'm gonna vlog for y'all. I'm gonna definitely get some content posted for training as much as I can. I know it's gonna be really intense and time consuming, but I definitely wanna put some content out there for y'all, providing different tips and tricks for y'all during training, so you can know what to expect. So I'm really looking forward to creating more content for you guys aligned with becoming a flight attendant. You know, hopefully it all goes well and I will pass training and I won't get sent home, but I didn't come this far to not pass training. So I'm definitely gonna give it my all and keep you guys up to date with that and show you the process, being very raw with y'all, and not gonna sugarcoat anything, because I wanna be very transparent as much as I can about the process so you guys can know how to prepare yourself. So yes, subscribe to my channel. Content is going to be on the way, and I'm looking forward to sharing my journey with you guys. My videos are definitely going to be about flight attendant stuff, but also lifestyle things as well. So stay tuned, and I can't wait to share with you all. Talk to you later.